everybody, and welcome to Jen's Corner for August 2023. We have, geez, the year's going fast, I tell you, I don't even know where August came from, but we have our event for this month. We're going to talk about the Caboolture Fun Day, which is at Centenary Lakes in Caboolture. It's next Monday, the 14th of August from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And it's free entry, free live music, free rides. There's show bags, there's activities, there's food trucks, there's, what else have they got there? Workshops, market stalls. So go along and have a look and take the family. It'll be a nice day, free to get in. So take some money so you can get something yummy to eat and have a walk around. So that's our event for this month. Our interview this month is with Michelle Hanton from Dragonsisters. Michelle is a business coach, and I hope you enjoy the interview. We did it. Thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it. Just you introducing yourself for a start, and who you are and what you do and all those wonderful things.
Okay, so my name is Michelle Hanton, and my business is called Dragonsisters. Now, where did that name come from? It actually came because I was diagnosed with breast cancer some 27 years ago. And after that diagnosis, I've been in one business, but I started another one. And I was already quite well known for my work with Dragonsisters, which is the dragon boat team for breast cancer survivors, and had been featured on Australian Story. And as a result of that, it made sense, people knew me as the Dragon Lady. It made sense to call the new business Dragonsisters, which I was working with my sister. And what does Dragonsisters do? We're business strategists and also operate a full service writing bureau. So working with small businesses, micro businesses and not-for-profits that want to move themselves from confused and overwhelmed, because you start your business all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and usually 2 to 5 years in discover things aren't going quite how you expected. Your back's against the wall, or you're running out of savings, etc., and you're not quite sure where to turn. And that's where Dragonsisters come in, as business strategists, taking that helicopter perspective and helping you get the clarity, because the answers all lie within us. We've got them inside us, but sometimes you need somebody to help bring them out and carry you over that bridge forward. So that's a little bit about me. I enjoy helping people, as can be seen from my work in the cancer space, and I translate that into the business space as well, because we all have to eat.
You have to eat. And your dragon boat racing that you did do, so did you help set that all up, or how did that work?
Yes. So I introduced dragon boat racing for breast cancer survivors into Australia.
So it wasn't here before that, that was...
Dragon boating was, but it was just fledgling.
Yeah.
And so I introduced it for breast cancer survivors into this country, and from there I became a board member of the Australian Dragon Boat Federation, and also spoke all over the world about it. And now that I'm here in Palmerston on Bribie Island, I've set up with a few others the first community club on Dragon Boat Palmerston. So yeah.
So I see them going out sometimes.
Yeah.
So that's all.
Yeah. So the boat goes out 5 days a week.
That's cool.
So yeah.
And do you get out yourself?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That'd be hard.
So
physically hard.
well, you get better over time.
I'd be in the middle and stop.
Well, the great thing about it, Janine, is unlike other sports, if you can't run fast enough, if you can't even walk as fast as the rest of the group, you get left behind, right? But with the dragon boat, you're all sitting in there.
You're a team.
So you're a team, and if you stop paddling, that's okay. The boat keeps going and they carry you along with it. That's the beauty.
You take a breath and then
exactly. Come in when you're ready.
Wow, that's very exciting. And so for your business coaching, how did that come about? Like, what was the thing that you sort of thought, then I could do this for a living, or have you always done business coaching?
Okay, so I don't call myself a business coach per se. Now, coaching has a very bad rap. I'm a business strategist.
Okay.
Some people call me a coach, but I don't advertise myself as that. So because I've worked in very diverse careers, so I've been CEO at Lifeline, I've worked as an ambulance officer in the Northern Territory, I've worked in private banking.
Wow.
All those things, so you don't get to be kind of my age without a little bit of experiences under your belt. And what I found is people would come to me and they would ask for advice, etc. And then I suppose the light bulb went on one day. And after my cancer diagnosis, I changed the direction of what I was doing, because I had retail and wholesale gym and swimwear businesses and was doing export. And I actually won the export award for manufacturing, the Queensland Fashion Award, all those things.
Wow.
In another lifetime. Yeah. So all those skills, I guess, they pull together and they become the lived experiences, because you can't go out there and try and teach people what to do if you haven't lived it yourself. I don't think.
No, I agree. Yeah.
And that's why the business flourished, because I'm drawing on personal
and varied experience.
And varied experience, yes. And because my clientele is global, what often happens is you see trends in different countries, and you can take different pieces from it.
Yeah, because we're sort of last on the run, aren't we, in Australia?
We often are. But we're also, very innovative in Australia, because a lot of Australian inventions have been taken up overseas.
Yeah.
So in Australia, we're not afraid to try things.
No, we're not afraid of that.
Yeah, just jump in the deep end and give it a go.
Give it a go. Why not? So is there any stories? I mean, you obviously had a lot of people that you've helped over the years with their businesses. Is there any standout stories that you sort of, the people that have amazed you, or huge transitions that you've seen or that you're really proud of?
Look, I'm proud of everybody that I've worked with.
Yeah.
And I've got two little stories to share. So one is a client who actually, she's lives in Hungary, she's Hungarian, and she's won all these awards from Microsoft. She's an absolutely amazing woman, and she engaged me to help her step the next step in her business. And we worked together on and off for, a few years, because usually what happens is people come to me, we work together for 3 months, they go off and do their thing, they come back 6 months, a year later, ready to take the next step. Yeah. Anyway, one of her goals she had shared with me was she wanted to own a very specific car, and it was to be this specific car was to be red in colour. She knew exactly what she wanted. That was her goal. Anyway, about 2 years after we'd finished working together, I get an email and it says, "I want to show you this. It's in my driveway." And it was just a picture of that red car. And she said, "I know you will understand what this means."
Yeah.
And it meant she'd fulfilled her goal.
Yeah.
It took a while, cool. And it was super cool.
Oh,
so that
really
one,
good.
and then another client who I nominated for the Telstra Business Women's Awards.
Oh.
So yeah.
Okay.
And she didn't win, but she got to the finalist stage, and she said, it just gave her so much confidence going through that. And
because I think that's the big thing with business, isn't it? I know myself. It's sort of like, you know what it is that you do and you do well, which is why you go into business. But there's so much of it that you don't know. And you sort of get in there and like you were talking about a helicopter view, you get so caught up in all the fundamentals of everything that's right in front of you that you don't often see exactly where you're lacking, or where you can, I guess, be a bit more targeted in getting to the next point, the next place.
And that's exactly right, Janine, because we all have that big vision and that big picture when we start out.
Mm.
But then, you know what it's like, it's the everyday stuff. You get worn down, you're focused, but your head down, bum up, and you don't come up for breath.
Yeah.
And that's why when people are working with me, I suppose what it does is two things. Like, we map out what it is that you want. It's got to be what you want. It's not me saying you have to do this. You have to say what you want. You map out the pathway of how you might get there. And little diversions come along. But then when you've got the guiding star and the helping hand, as one client said, the dragon on your shoulder.
The dragon on your shoulder.
She's calling me that. And she's a little dragon on my shoulder. To kind of bring you back.
Yeah.
And you know what it's like yourself when you say you're doing a course, a uni course or something like that. When your assignment's due, it's suddenly, oh gosh, and you really get into it. And this is the same thing when clients know they've got a meeting with me, they've got their one-on-one session. It's they say, I knew you were going to ask me this, so I scrambled around and did it. And that's basically what it is, because
and you can feel quite alone sometimes, because
very much so.
You sort of feel like you should know all of the aspects of business, and the reality is that nobody does.
Nobody does.
Unless you've been in it a long time and you've got a lot of experience. You don't know, and it's okay to have people help you.
Absolutely. And you know, no matter how much experience you've got, you still don't know everything. And today's business world is very fast paced. Things change.
The social media.
The social media is a whole other thing that is a real time suck and can lead you really down a rabbit hole. But having somebody to turn to and say, I don't understand this, or I don't know what to do next. You know, I've often had to say to people, well, actually, I don't know what to do, but I know who to ask.
Yeah.
And you go to your contacts, and go, okay, how do we do this? I know this is possible. I don't know how to do it.
But let's find out.
Let's find out.
And it's okay to do that. It's okay to admit that you don't know.
I think that's so important. That is so important.
I think another thing too is it's as much what you don't do as what you do, isn't it? Especially with social media, because you've got so many different avenues.
Yeah.
If you spent all your time doing all of those different mediums, you wouldn't have time to do anything else.
Absolutely not.
So you've got to pick your...
You have to pick
your path.
Yeah. And same as, you know, running your own business, you do have to decide what you are going to do, what you're going to pay somebody else to do, or what really isn't important just because everybody else is doing it. Doesn't mean
make sure you don't do the filler stuff, isn't it? The stuff that you sort of hide in sometimes that keeps you busy but doesn't actually get you anywhere.
Absolutely. And that's what I always say, there's a huge difference between being busy and actually being productive. They're two totally different things. And
do you end up with a lot of procrastinators on your, like, how do you get past procrastination? Have you got any?
You do end up with procrastinators. So one of the things I like to do is, before we start working together, is run through, it's like a workbook, and I don't fill it in, the client fills it in, and that way it's really easy to say, this is what you wrote down.
Yeah.
It's your handwriting. This is what you decided you wanted.
Keeps them on task.
Bring it back.
Goal setting.
And if you decide that's no longer the goal, well, that's okay too.
And that's a big thing with business too, isn't it? Because businesses pivot all the time. So just because you go into something with a goal in mind, quite often something else will come along that you actually enjoy more, or that suits you better.
Yeah.
And it's okay to do that.
It is okay to do that, providing, you know, I call, like, strategic planning is my big thing. And I say, if you have a strategic plan, it's usually 3 to 5 years. You're not setting little micro goals. Your goal is quite big usually. How you achieve that goal can vary, but most often than not, the goal does not change. Yeah. So the goal might be, you know, I want to be mortgage free, or I want to have more time with my children, or financial, you know, I want to, whatever it might be. That goal doesn't change. How you get there may change. Like I said, you know, a different opportunity. But, and the thing I would say is, well, that's great. Is that going to get you towards that goal? Yeah. Sometimes the answer is no, but it looks really interesting. Yeah. And then
that's a hobby.
Okay, well, maybe I won't go down that road.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Because if that goal hasn't changed, and that's going to take you away from it, you need to come on back here on the path.
So you were saying before, people sort of hook up with you for 3 months, and then in 6 months or 12 months you do another session.
It just depends, you know, on the individual and what it is they want. But I always say my aim is to take you to that clarity so that you know what you're doing, not to keep you. One, I would get bored if the truth be known.
Yeah,
But my goal is to empower you to have that confidence to take those steps, and you need to be able to take those steps on your own, and then go, right, I've achieved this. Now I want to do that, and come back again. And that works, I think, well.
So you're not there all the time holding their hand all the way through it. It's just,
No.
I guess, your strategic is your business plan, isn't it?
Yes.
Because a lot of people think that you put a business plan together and it's just done, but it's a movable object.
It is a movable object.
You need to work on over time.
Yeah, and it's not something that you just,
throw in the cupboard or do it for your bank and then throw it in the cupboard and look at it again.
And there is a huge difference between a strategic plan and a business plan. So the business plan is what the bank wants. But the strategic plan is much.
But see, often you think the business plan is it.
Yeah.
That's it. The whole goal, but it's not.
No, it's not.
They're two different things.
And that is the thing, when we say we don't know what we don't know. Most people starting in business do not realise they need a strategic plan. Myself included.
Me too.
Read it, done that.
Yeah.
And it's later on that you suddenly go, that would have been so helpful. But I didn't know about that. I didn't know its value.
Yeah.
What would I need? Well, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because we're enthusiastic, we're bright-eyed, we're bushy-tailed.
And I think sometimes you feel like you should know everything.
Yes.
Like that you're admitting some sort of failure if you don't, but that's not the case.
No, it's not the case.
You look at people from, butchers, they're good butchers. It doesn't mean that they need to do the books or do all of those other things. Outsourcing can really free up time and actually be more profitable than trying to muddle through and do it yourself and make mistakes and get the tax man unhappy.
Definitely. And when you're particularly if you're in a service industry, that is very common. A lot of my clients are healthcare practitioners of one sort or another, and that's a big thing because they are professionals, they are experts at what they do, but they're not particularly good at these other elements, but they've realised that and they come and they seek help.
It's no failure, really.
No, that's it. And
it's actually smarter business.
It is. And a lot of the time, one of the first things is saying, okay, what you need to find yourself a good accountant, find yourself a bookkeeper, because let's face it, how much are you charging an hour versus how much are you going to have to pay the bookkeeper? Right. And then suddenly it becomes, this is a no-brainer. Why am I doing this?
Yeah, and they do it far better than I do and save me more money anyway.
Yeah.
So, no, that's
But we do, like you said at the beginning, you just kind of get into that, I need to do it.
Well, because it's the assumption, isn't it?
It is.
And then when you go into business and everybody's looking at you and everybody's formed their opinions of whether or not you're going to make it or not. So you sort of, I guess, feel that maybe if you do admit those things that it's, a fault or a failure, but it's really not.
And every time you run against one of those obstacles, I will say, that's a learning opportunity. You're learning something from that experience and you've got to be able to take that lesson on board, and that's
not personally.
No, and that's one of the things, quite often I say, this hasn't worked out. I said, why didn't it work? What have we learned from it? Is it something you did? Is it something you didn't do? Was it a bad idea? And quite often it wasn't a bad idea at all. It just needs a little tweak.
The execution.
Yeah.
Well, how many light bulbs did Edison make? Thousands before.
Absolutely.
If he had given up, it would have been bad.
Or we're sitting here in the dark.
We would.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Oh, that's really cool. And what, I guess, to end it up, what would be, if somebody's starting out, micro businesses you do as well, so you're in the Moreton Bay, but you can do globally, so anybody that sees you can use you. What would be, I guess, the one little piece of advice do you think? Is there one thing above the others that you would say to people just starting out?
I would. So the first thing I would say is do your market research. First of all, do your market research. Don't be suckered into thinking that you need everything to start. So you don't need all the bells and whistles, you know.
Yeah.
So you don't need the website, you don't need the social media, you don't need to have the latest phone and the latest laptop and all those things. You need a good, solid plan.
Yeah. And the rest
stick your toe in the water, see if it works, and take it from there. Because too often you hear people, and it breaks my heart when I hear about it. They go into enormous debt, and I've done that myself.
Yeah.
You know, I'll fess up.
I've had moments.
You know, because you think that you need this, and people will tell you this is what you need to do to be successful, and it's not true.
Yeah.
You know, it's say, come and hire me and you're going to be successful. That is not true.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't afford my fees? That's okay. Put it on your credit card. I've got a payment plan.
Yeah.
No, don't do that.
Be very selective.
Be very selective. Be very selective.
Yeah.
And smart with where you're going to spend that money. And if you've got a business loan, be really clear that you actually need it for that
business
particular thing. Yeah.
Not the cars or the phones or the suits or the...
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Because websites, I know when I first started in business, we were building websites at that time.
Yeah.
And that was right back.
Yes.
A long time ago.
That was before social media.
It was before social media. And we put the first car yard website together, and they were uploading twice a day their used cars.
Yeah.
So it was that was a huge thing at the time.
Yeah.
You could actually go on in the afternoon, the cars you saw on the website were actually in the lot.
Yeah.
But they were, $30,000, $40,000 websites then.
Yes.
Now you can build a website yourself on WordPress for a couple $100.
Yeah.
Don't you? So you don't need to spend all of that money.
No, you don't need all of that.
No.
And a lot of people don't need that with social media. If I suppose the biggest thing is know where your audience is, know where your market is.
Yeah, that's true.
And
that's the market research.
That's the market research. If they're on Facebook,
Yeah.
That's where you want to be. If they're on,
So I heard a lot, and I don't know if you can explain this a little bit, but everybody talks about demographics in business and searching that. And now I'm hearing the word psychographics a lot.
Yeah.
So and I think that's what you're talking about, isn't it? It's not more like it's your client is a female in their 50s who are single and go here on the weekends and do all those things. The psychographics is more a personality type and where they hang out and what how they buy, I guess, rather than those other things.
Yeah. It's all those things combined, how they buy, what influences their decision. And now that we are such an instant society with the social media, a lot of people seem to make the mistake thinking that if I advertise on Facebook, I'm going to get sales. That's not the case.
That's not why you're on there, is it?
No, you're not on there. The key word is social. You're there to make that connection, and depending on what your product is. But I would say at the end of the day, remember, people buy from those they know, they like, and they trust. How you build that is really important because it can be lost in an instant.
Yeah. And people are really looking for authenticity now.
They are.
So they want to see who you are, faults and all, warts and all,
right.
And then they trust you for that because you're not hiding anything. That sales spin is gone.
And they relate to you. They go, that's what, you go, oh yeah, she's like me.
Yeah.
Or if you're going to work with somebody one-on-one, you go, I can't stand her voice. Well, that's not going to work, is it?
No. So you've got to pick somebody.
So there's all these little things that fit together. And sadly, there is a lot of preying on vulnerability.
We see that a lot in real estate.
Yeah.
A lot.
And, so I'd always say, if you are starting out, do your market research in terms of, yes, where are your customers hanging out, but also the people that you're going to do business with.
Yeah.
Don't just look at the testimonial they put up, look at where did that testimonial come from? Like if you're
Search your own testimonial.
Yeah, if you're on LinkedIn, you can actually see the person who I wrote a blog about that some time ago, but
you wrote a book too?
a blog about,
blog.
you know, how you research those things. Because, you got to do due diligence.
You do.
We're talking about a lot of money here.
And, in saying that, reviews are a huge part for your business, aren't you? So ask your clients for reviews too.
Yes, ask for the reviews.
So social proof.
Yep, social proof. And if you want to talk to that particular person, if you're not sure it's real, just ring up and say, hey, so-and-so wrote you a testimonial. I'd really like to speak to them, or I'd like to see the original.
Yeah. And if it's legit, people won't mind.
If it's legit, people don't mind.
And I think another thing too I've noticed with doing video more this year is that people will say things to you, the keyboard warrior type of people.
Oh, yes.
And everybody has an opinion on you and what you're doing. And I guess for me, I would sort of say, don't lose sight of, because it's very easy for someone to say that and then walk off, and then you're going to change your whole business and what you do because somebody said they didn't like. I had one that said, they told me I should fire my hairdresser.
Oh, how rude.
And I thought, well, that says more about you than it does about me. But people, because you do put yourself out there, you have to put yourself out there to make money in business or to be successful.
Yeah.
And people are always going to have, especially now, people are getting a bit, can get a bit narky out there. So you've got to really thicken your skin a little bit and not take it personally.
Oh, I think it really is very easy to say something online that you would not say to somebody's face.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's amazing. So,
and
crazy. But there's a lot of good people out there still.
Oh,
and they're the ones we want.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for coming on today.
You're welcome, my pleasure.
I really love all your ideas. I think you're amazing. I love your necklace.
Oh,
It's a little dragon.
Yes.
That's so cool.
So it was a gift.
That's very cool.
A long time ago. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. In the market update for Caboolture sales, the days on market's moved to about 22 days at the moment. But what we are seeing that's a little bit different is values of listed prices coming down. So it's about 4.4% drop with what properties are going to market at. What that means is that when you put a property to market and you put a sales price on there, what was happening a year ago is that people would come through, they'd throw silly offers at you and you'd get multiple offers of 10 or 12 offers within 24 hours and the properties would sell. So what's happening now with some properties, not all of them, but just with some, is that when they're being priced into the market, there's not much activity happening on them. So the pricing is being dropped and keeps getting dropped until those buyers become available or until the buyers' interests have been piqued, and then they'll start coming through and having a look. We are still getting multiple offers on things. When things are priced well, you'll get multiple offers still and they'll come through, but price has to be perfect, presentation has to be on point as well for those things to happen. So if you do see properties sit on the market just for a little while, those prices will drop and you'll be able to go along and have a look. When pricing a property, it's really important to make sure that you hit that point where you're getting great buyer activity straight from the start. You want to get people through looking at the property all at the same time, and you can still pull multiple offers together. So just needs to be planned out a little bit better than what it was, say, 18 months ago or even 12 months ago. So still multiple offers, 22 days on market for Caboolture. I think there's like 580 odd homes have been sold in the last 12 months. And I think there's over 108 for sale in just the Caboolture suburb alone. So still plenty happening. If you are going to be going to market in the next 6 to 12 months, plan it out, give us a call, we can go through and assess the property and see what we can do to actually get you the best price that we can. Because sometimes you can spend a little bit of money to be able to get you a really good result on the other end. You can't put properties up at the moment without a care and presentation's not very good and it's not clean or tidy or any of those things and expect a good price. It doesn't happen anymore. Everything needs to be on point for it to happen. So Plenty still happening in the market, and if you are looking for a price for your home, or you've got some questions that you'd like to ask in terms of selling your home, just reach out and I can come around and have a look and have a chat to you and give you a bit of a report and show you what to expect. If you're looking to get in contact with Michelle and you can't find her details, I'll put those up here for you as well. But if you have trouble reaching Michelle, just get in touch and I can pass her details on to you or get her to give you a call. I hope you enjoyed the interview with Michelle today. She's such a fascinating lady. I love sitting down and having a chat to Michelle. And that's a wrap for August 2023. So if there is anybody that you would like me to interview, then just leave a comment and I can get in touch. Or if you have a small business in our region, in the Moreton Bay region, and would like me to interview you, just reach out as well, and I'm happy to come around and have a chat to everyone. So I hope you're all enjoying getting to know our small business owners for Moreton Bay. I know I'm enjoying interviewing everybody. So that's it for August. I will see you in September.